In this video, we'll walk through the replacing of the front and rear brake pads and rotors on this 2010 Chevy Impala, but this will hold true for all of the 9th generation Impalas, 06 to 13, and the process is similar to most other vehicles, except for the new ones that have electronic parking brakes. Now I have a lift, which makes this job really easy for me, but it's totally doable with the jack and some jack stands. So we're going to start with the front, and step one is taking this wheel off. It's a good idea to put something underneath like a box or a rags just to catch things that might fall, like the drips from this PB blaster that I'm going to use to soak the hub, the retaining screw, and the bolts that hold in the caliper and caliper bracket. After giving that some time to soak, I'm going to put a screwdriver in here to stop this rotor from spinning, and I'm going to back out this set screw. It's a Torx head screw, and what you want to do is you do it by hand. Make sure you're fully seated. Make sure you push all the way in there. Clean out any debris that might be in there to make sure that socket is fully in there, and then back it out by hand first before trying to rip this thing with any kind of powered tool. Back it out slowly and then remove the screw. After that, work your way around back and remove the 2 bolts that hold in the caliper. You may need an open end wrench to hold the back side or the receiving side of that bolt because it can spin. As usual, you don't want to hang a caliper by its brake line. So have something ready like big zip ties or these little brackets, these little hooks, to make sure you can hang that caliper and push it, get it out of the way. Remove the pads, taking note of any wear patterns or if any one of the pads were stuck or seemed hard to move. Take off these little metal thin little clips that are on top and bottom of the bracket, and then zip out the 2 bolts behind it that hold the bracket in. Because of the location of the strut in relation to that top bolt, you may need an extension for your ratchet to clear. Remove the bracket, set it to the side. Use some PB Blaster to soak the slots where these brake pads slide on. And try not to get too much of this chemical on the rubber boots at the top and bottom of the bracket. Remove the rotor, throw it in the garbage can with your other 3 rotors, and make sure you leave a little tip there for your garbage men. Prep this hub surface by using a wire brush. Clean off as much rust as you can. If you use a wire reel like me, make sure you have proper eye protection. The little anti-seize on the surface of this hub helps to make sure your new rotor doesn't get stuck there when it's time to take that one off. New rotor goes on, line up that hole for the retaining screw, and zip that down. Doesn't have to be too tight. Hit it with some brake clean just to help clean off any residual oils. Come back to that bracket. That PB Blaster should have worked its way in a little bit now. And again with the wire brush, clean up as much as you can of any of these surfaces that will receive the brake pad material. If you're going to use a wire wheel, again, use eye protection and maybe some long sleeves. Before you go any further, inspect both the rubber boots and guide pins on this bracket. You can see here they move in and out nice and free. I'm going to leave it alone. But if they were stuck in any way, these will get pulled out. They'll get sanded down. You remount the inside of that caliper bracket. You reinstall the boot, if not a new one. Lightly grease the pin and you're good to go. Caliper bracket goes back on, lining up the holes. Reinstall the 2 bolts that hold this onto the knuckle and they get torqued down to 130 foot-pounds. With the bracket back in place, go ahead and put a little grease in the grooves that receive these metal clips. They don't slide back and forth, but they can chatter, and it'll just help it to prevent corrosion. Make sure the clips fully seat. You should feel them snap into these grooves on both sides and top and bottom. Next, a little bit of lube on any of the surfaces of your brake pads that are going to move or slide. So these end pieces here that slide and that sit into those metal clips, and some on the back. Now these pads have a backing liner, so they're really not necessary to put lube back here, but I still do that just I guess because I'm old. Try not to get any of that lube on the brake pad material, but once these brakes are lubed up, go ahead and slide them into the corresponding slots in those metal clips. Now if they go in really hard or they bind, you might want to take the clips off and do some more wire wheel or even a file, because that's what's going to be what's binding you up. But here they go in nice and easy. Before the caliper goes back on, you need to compress the pistons back in. I got this tool here off of Amazon. I'll put a link to below. It works great, and it has different adapters, like for this case, where it's a dual piston caliper. But you're just going to put it in there, ratchet it down nice and slow, and push them back in. Keep an eye on the boots. Keep an eye on the movement. If they move in nice and slow, if the boots go in nice and even, you're good to go. If you notice any issues, you're going to have to work on this caliper. Once the pistons are fully compressed, you should be able to slide the caliper right back over the bracket and over these pads, line up those holes, and screw in those bolts. Those bolts get tightened to 26 foot-pounds. And again, you may need to use an open-end wrench to hold the guide pin so that it doesn't spin on you. I'm going to hit it one more time with a brake clean, and with a rag, just get off any residual oils. What's left here is remounting the front tire, and this part is done. Now moving on to the rear. This is going to start off pretty much the same way. Taking off this rear tire, soaking the hub, bolts, and the retaining screw with some PB Blaster. Give that a little time to soak and then come back and remove the caliper bolts. Now these bolts are a little bit different from the front because they are the guide pins as well. So you're going to pull those and slide. They might be a little difficult to pull out by hand because of the suction it's created, but you want to pull those pins out completely. After that, use something to hang the caliper, set it up to the side. By the way, if the caliper's on pretty tight and doesn't slide off easily, you can compress the piston right here in place by giving it a good push towards the piston. Hang the caliper up and out of the way and remove the brake pads, once again checking for wear patterns or any issues with the pads themselves sticking in that bracket. You can see these pads are kind of stuck and I need a screwdriver to get them out. So I'm going to make sure that when it's time to wire wheel that bracket, I clean them up really well so I create enough space for the new pads to slide easily. Once again, I'm going to wedge a flat screwdriver in between this bracket and rotor to keep it in place while I back out this retaining screw. It's that same Torx head screw, and remember to fully seat your socket. Move it slowly by hand first before applying any kind of power. Go around back and remove the two bolts that hold the caliper bracket onto this knuckle. Inspect the boots that protect the guide pins. Spray the caliper down with some PB Blaster and set it to the side. Now the rear has pads for your regular stopping power, but it also has shoes for your emergency brake. So this is a combination rotor. It's actually called a hat, a drum and hat. You might have to give it a few taps because they're known to get stuck here. A few taps with the hammer for this here got this off for me. But with the rotor off, you can do a quick inspection on your brake shoes and then take that wire brush or a wire wheel and clean off that hub. And again, eye protection is a must if you're going to use a wire wheel. Hit that hub with a little anti-seize to make sure that next rotor doesn't get stuck. A little brake clean to clean off the oil that they put in this for shipping, and then this rotor can go back on. Again, line up that hole and the set screw gets put back in. Go ahead and get your wire brush and clean off that brake caliper bracket. If you use a wire wheel, again, eye protection, maybe some gloves and long sleeves, because it sucks having to fish these out of your skin. But once you have this caliper bracket fully cleaned off, go ahead and inspect the rubber boots and get it back onto the knuckle. Those two bolts get torqued down to 85 foot-pounds. And just as we did in the front, the new clips, a little bit of lube on the back side, make sure they snap in and fully seat on both the top and bottom of the bracket. Once you have those in, lube up your sliding parts of the new pads and get those installed. Go ahead and compress your piston. In my case, I was actually able to compress this caliper while it was still in place. So I'm pretty good in getting it back on right now. But if you need to, get your piston all the way back in and set this caliper back over your pads. Now before we bolt these pins in, we're going to inspect them. We're going to clean them off really well, slightly sand them down if you need to. These look pretty good, so I'm just going to clean them off and apply a very thin layer of lube. Reinsert the pins and torque them down to 32 foot-pounds. Finish this off with one more shot of brake clean, cleaning off the surfaces here. Mount the tire and torque down the lug nuts to about 100 foot-pounds. Easy job, front and rear brakes and rotors on this Impala you can do right at home and save a ton of money. I like making these videos to show how easy it is to do some of these things on your own, and of course to save a ton of money while doing it. I'll put links to the items and the tools I've used below, and if you use my links, I will earn a whole 17 cents.